Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So today I want to talk about creepy mother-in-laws. My mother-in-law is one of the most creepiest and meshed, codependent person on her child I've ever met in my life. Every time I'm ever around her, she is always giving my husband massages and rubbing on his feet and rubbing on his back and hanging on him and kissing him and doing all this weird stuff, basically doing everything for him while he's at their house, treating him like a 2-year-old. If she could, she would feed him and cut his food up for him and feed him if she could have done it. But the way that the creepiness of her had me so freaked out that I honestly started thinking that my husband was having sex with his mother. And for months, it was just bothering me, and I wanted to ask my husband if he was having sex with his mom. So I pulled him aside one day and I said, Jared, look, I want you to tell me the truth. Are you having sex with your mom? And he freaked out and was like, what are you talking about? That's crazy talk. And I told him, I said, look at the way she acts. Not only is she acting like a jealous girlfriend, but she's always rubbing on you and doing things that a girlfriend should be doing. And I think a lot of the times the reason why she was showboating herself like that and acting creepy was to put it in my face that, you know, she's the number one in her child's life, that I'm nobody and a nothing to them, and that, you know, just basically making it seem like my husband doesn't need me because he has her. And when you're a healthy relationship growing up with your parents looks like this. Your parents raise you to grow independent of them. They raise you to form your own identity. And when you meet somebody and become a couple, and especially after marriage, a healthy parent allows their child to bond with their partner and form their own identity as a couple. But when you have an enmeshed parent, they want to form that bond with you. They want to be part of the identity of the relationship that you are forming together. And when the mother can't accomplish that, because no woman is going to tolerate that, when the mother cannot accomplish that, she starts being facetious and mean and cruel and inconsiderate and starts doing really creepy things, because narcissists identify themselves with who their child is. This is why narcissists like to brag on their child and want their child to have grand accomplishments. Because when a child succeeds, the enmeshed parent takes that, not accountability, they take that them succeeding as their own. Okay, so they take credit for their child's succeeding. So it could be that they won a medal, they got straight A's, whatever it is, their best player on their team, whatever it is. They don't allow the child to have that recognition. The parent takes that recognition. And so this is why narcissistic parents really push their children to succeed. Because in my case, with my in-law, my mother-in-law, is that she's never succeeded at anything. Even though she acts as though she's succeeded at a lot of things in life, the truth of the matter is that she has rode her husband's coattails and her children's coattails their whole life. So what her husband and her children have accomplished and succeeded in, she thinks she did. She accomplished it. And, you know, my mother-in-law walks around and acts as though she's some successful person, that she's done so much in life, when all she's ever done was be a housewife. Did she teach for 5 years? Yes, she did teach for 5 years. But after that, you know, she hasn't done anything in her life. But has the nerve to call me a nobody and a nothing, and that I'll never amount to anything, when I've been working my whole life, okay? And that's something else too about narcissists, is that they don't want their daughter-in-law or son-in-law to succeed, because it makes them look bad, because they know deep down that they haven't succeeded themselves. And this is why they will divert conversations about your success and things that you've accomplished back onto them, because they don't want you to talk about your accomplishments. It's always only about them. And this is also one of the reasons why, after I gave birth to my son, I decided I wanted to go back to work. And I said it it was at a crawfish bowl, and I had said it in front of her 2 sisters and her. And she turned to me and goes, "Why would you ever do that?" Because, like, what was going to happen was, I was going to stay in Austin and work, and my husband was going to travel for work. So we weren't really going to live together. We were just going to see each other every 2 weeks. So she turned and looked at me and goes, "Why would you ever take Bryce away from his father? Why would you do that? Like, why would you want to let your son grow up without his father?" And it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that my husband needed help financially at the time, and I wanted to go back to work. And, you know, she basically sat there and said that I was a bad mother, that no good mother would ever go back to work having children, because that's what she did, is she stayed at home after having children, and just really laid it on me on the fact that I wanted to go back to work. But back to the enmeshment. Now, the thing is because the narcissist depends on their child's closeness with them, that bond that is unhealthy that they have with them, because they rely on that. When a woman comes into a man's life, or vice versa, whatever, the bond is now broken with the enmeshed mother, and the bond is now forming with you. The narcissist ends up seeing that the bond is fading away with them and is now being focused on you. And this is why all of a sudden you see your narcissist starting trouble with you. And the first thing they do is try to discredit your character to your partner. They start saying things like, you know, their partner is a nobody and a nothing, and that he could have any girl in the world. Why would he ever choose me? I'm not going to amount to anything. I come from a broken family. I come from a poor family. Just saying things that really had nothing to do with our personal relationship. But with an enmeshed mother, is that they take take your traumas and vulnerabilities and use it against you to convince their child that you are no good for them and that they can do better. And the enmeshed mother plays mind games with their child, especially when it comes to money. Because they know that they can control their child with money, and they know that money makes them seem like a good parent, they will purposely give their child money to have that stronghold over them. So later on, that son or daughter owes them something. So then they end up having to do things for the narcissist that they really don't want to do. And as a parent, you should be able to help your child or whatever it is without asking for a favor back. Because love is doing something out of the kindness out of your heart. Love is not doing something for someone and expecting a favor back. You do it because you're showing that child that I love you this much, that I'm willing to do anything for you. But with the narcissist, it's conditional love. So they're not giving unconditional love. They set them up for failure, thinking, well, if I do this for you, then later on I can use that against you, and you'll have to do something for me that you don't really want to do. And I'm sorry, let me put this here. And when you're dealing with a jealous, envious mother, enmeshed mother, they treat their whatever it is, son, daughter, whatever it is, I'm talking about a son. They treat their son as a surrogate partner, like their husband. And my mother-in-law, rubbing on my husband and massaging him it's like the very first thing she will ask him when he walks in the door is, you want me to give you a back massage or a foot massage? Just trying to do things that me as a woman, as his wife, should be doing, or maybe go to a masseuse, whatever it is. But she does this to aggravate me. It's almost a passive aggressive move where she is saying, okay, I can do whatever I want to my child, and I'm gonna do it in your face because I don't really care about you, and because I am showing you who's boss type of attitude. And so there's this climatic approach that they have, because when you first come into the picture, the enmeshment is really, really strong because the narcissist feels threatened by you. But what I found over the years is the harder you fight on this enmeshment and the way that she is acting creepy starts to fade away when the son starts to pull back. And the way that the son pulls back is because you address the situation. You tell your partner or husband that their mother's behaviors are creepy and they make you feel uncomfortable. And so what my husband started doing is, when his mother would start touching him or asking him for a massage or whatever, he would say, no, thank you, Mom. I'm doing fine. Thanks anyways. So that he started doing that. But the thing is the enmeshment isn't going to stop completely, but you can tame it down a lot by you setting boundaries and having goals in that relationship. And also explaining to your partner that the enmeshment should not be, it's not appropriate to have with their mother. And that the things that they do put you in a awkward situation where you don't find it attractive. It literally grosses you out. And that it took me telling my husband that for him to wake up to the fact that what his mother was doing was not normal. Like, I could understand if it was like a elementary school teacher or student or something like that, because it is good to love on your kids and touch them and everything. But if the mother is doing it to a 30-year, almost 40-year-old child, that's bizarre behavior. And so when you're dealing with a narcissist who has boundary issues, the only way to break that is not by you setting those boundaries, but by having your husband set those boundaries. Because if you go off and try to set boundaries, you'll look like the bad guy. And it's not going to do any good, because the person that is being affected the most is the actual child of the narcissist. I don't know. It just seems like the enmeshment is the creepiest part of the whole relationship, because if you're ever in public and you see like somebody acting strangely like a creep, you stay clear of that person to protect yourself. So it's basically the same thing, is that you have to stay clear of the narcissist so the creepiness and the enmeshment and the codependence can die down, because it changes over the years, especially when your wife or husband sticks to the plan, sticks to it, and lets the mother know. And now, does it cause a narcissistic injury? Yes, of course it does. But I think it also embarrasses the narcissist, but they also will guilt trip them. Like, oh, I'm your mother, I should be able to give you a massage, I should be able to do this and that. But the truth is that no. Maybe when he was a child, maybe when he was 5 years old, that's fine. But you're talking about a 40-year-old man, and the enmeshment gets, really, it gets so deep that a lot of these, children of narcissists don't even see it, because they've normalized it. So they think that the behavior of his mom is normal because she's been doing it since childbirth, rubbing on him and all this stuff. She's been doing it for years. So that's why he freaked out when I asked him if he was having sex with his mom, because of the creepiness. But it's because she has brainwashed him into believing that her behaviors with him are normal. Alright, guys. Peace, love, and harmony.